So that play aside, Arrington said he's actually got a little bit better as a pass. Pass is intercepted. It's guess who again? Leonard. Second interception, and he's still on his feet. Leonard's going to score. He just won't talk. Second down and 9. Give it to Taylor. And the burst from Taylor. He's going to break away. Taylor takes it in. Touchdown. Play action to Rivers. Pass is caught by the rookie Pittman. Coming off his best day. First touchdown for Quenton.
Good morning, Colts Nation. Welcome back to the first ever live stream edition of No Horsing Around podcast, brought to you exclusively by the Lounge Room Network. As always, we're just two dudes talking Colts. We're your very excited hosts tonight, Steven and Zach. Zach, man, we've been talking about it all day. I'm so pumped to do the live stream.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've just been looking forward to it. It's kind of crazy because we've been talking to Steven for a while about just getting on here and doing something live. Cool interaction with the fans. Hopefully we get some people drummed up here. And we're giving 2 tickets away, right? Like that's the big thing. We just want to say a big thank you to the people who have followed us, especially the ones who have been here since day one, and even our new followers. We got so many people on YouTube. Man, I'm excited to give these tickets away. I've probably never been more excited to include somebody in with this show. So yeah, it's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah, real quick too, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're tuned in, thank you guys so much. If you're watching on live on YouTube or on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you're doing it, thank you guys. Thank you guys for anyone who's going to be listening tomorrow on all of our areas for podcasts. We're really excited. Huge shout out already. We got 2 people. My boy Zeke already jumped in. What up? What up? Hey, Zeke. Zeke's a huge help for spreading the word about No Horsing. And then obviously, got to give a shout out to my boy Adam Raymer, COO of the Lounge Room Network, one of my best friends, jumping on here with me, saying, let's go. I'm ready, you guys. I'm ready. So let's just, like we do. Let's not hesitate. Let's kind of jump right into this. Let's give the guys kind of a little quick, before we dive into kind of training camp kind of stuff. Let's do what we know about the surgeries. We know we've got 2 of them. We know they're the same thing. We know Carson's got the foot. We know Quenton's got the foot. We know they both have had surgery. So Zach, what do you know? I'm gonna kind of toss the ball to you. What do you know so far about how they may have gone? What are we looking at?
So I think it's just so early. Listen to Frank Wright talk about the 2 surgeries. Just in the very beginning stages, looks like they were going to let it from the day of surgery go 2 weeks out, then kind of assess that. That's when the real soft, simple rehab's going to go. I thought it was very interesting that Frank did mention that they're still going to be lifting weights, even though they're not going to be on the foot. They're still going to be kind of taking those mental reps, lifting weights, getting ready to do things when it's time to kind of press the button, play, everything goes. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory the way that Quenton Nelson feels about it. He was very evident with that tweet. He said, F that, man. He said, I'm not taking this injury. I'll be ready for week 1. He's excited that the injury happened so early so he can actually be back on the playing field. And you got to feel like, this league is so derivative on matchups, and everybody had this matchup circled on the calendar. Aaron Donald, Big Q5-6, right? Like everybody wanted to see that matchup. And then now, that question's in limbo. But I think there's a good chance that Quenton comes back. I really do. I think he's motivated as well as Carson. They're very optimistic on that. But not going to spend a whole lot of time on the surgery, Steven. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll add to it, like you said, yeah, Quenton's like his Instagram post was basically, I got 5 weeks. And I mean, I plan to be back. That's, and if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Quenton. Dude's a freak of nature. I mean, so I can see that. And then the only interesting tidbit that I feel like about Carson was it does sound like, we dropped our video last week, our little short one-off one. Yeah. And it sounded like Reich said it went really, really well. No complications. And we are looking at kind of the earlier time frame for him. So I think me and you talked, we've kind of always felt 5 to 8 weeks is kind of maybe going to be that sweet spot. So that's kind of where I'm sitting. That's what I'm thinking with it. I do want to say, I want to piggyback on what you said too with the weights, is that it is interesting to me that, I texted, I reached out to Kevin Bowen just to because I was curious, and he said he's not 100% sure of this, but I believe, and it goes with what you said too, Carson is definitely up there. He's in the meetings. So that's great. I love that he's still up there in the meetings. He's still interacting. He's still kind of doing all those things. But like you said, we're not going to, I don't want to beat this, for lack of a better word, horse to death, because we've done videos. We've talked about the surgeries. Now it's just kind of wait and see. So let's kind of move on, man. Obviously, y'all know that my boy Zach was at training camp this weekend.
Yes,
so we kind of want to go through what we're thinking through 2 weeks of training camp. I'm going to toss the ball to him because I really want to know what he saw in person. Very jealous of Zach with getting to go. I got lots of pictures as he was up there. But I'm going to toss the ball to him. I'm going to let him kind of tell you guys what he saw, what his feeling is, and then we'll kind of banter about.
Yeah, Steven, before I get into that, man, just everybody who's taking a second to jump on this live stream, we will get to you. We're going to do the ticket giveaway. I just want everybody to know that. We've got a segment, dedicated to just that, so bear with us as promised. But, yeah, that training camp, the second week training camp rehab, I was there, and what I wanted to see was there were a few things I wanted to see if there were anybody who would stand out. I wanted to see what those quarterbacks looked, right? Like I wanted to see what Eason and Ellinger had to, live bullets right there. But there were some really, really, really nice takeaways I had. I would like to start with one of the notes that I wrote down, the kickers, right? We looked at Hot Rod, we looked at Panero. I looked at both of them. They both looked solid. They really did. It was very evident from just being there that Hot Rod has definitely bulked up. He's definitely really worked on his body, gotten in a lot better shape. That ball seems to kind of boom off of his leg a little bit more than it did last year, which was very encouraging. I think Kevin Bowen tweeted this out the other day. They've had 10 live kicks so far in camp, and they're both 10 for 10. So, talking about fighting for your life and back and forth, that's going to be an awesome, awesome showdown when it gets going and everything. Also, the next thing I wanted to see if there's any young guy that stood out, and I'm going to tell you right now, from the second that I saw those players walk on the field, from the second that I watched those players walk off the field, Michael Strahan was just I'm telling you right now, he is a man amongst boys, Steven. I mean, that dude is legit. I tell you, when I closed my eyes and I said, who does he remind me of? And the one guy that stood out was Plaxico Burress. He's a little bit thicker than Plaxico Burress, but the way he runs his route, it's almost, he has this cadence to the way he runs his routes. He kind of slows down and speeds up, and slows down and speeds up, and then uses his power when he needs to use his power. I'm telling you, that is an NFL wide receiver if I've ever seen one.
I love
that dude. He got a few plays when I was there on that Saturday practice. It was the Hall of Fame day. He got a few reps with first string because T.Y. was on a rest day. So if you're looking to see a guy who might have the upper hand in that wide receiver room, there's a reason why he was out there with the ones early on. He stood out. It was incredible. Bobby Okereke, he looked really, really, that dude just looked like he was in great playing shape. He really did, man. Really cool, man. It was cool to see him. And then obviously everybody wants to talk about the quarterbacks, Jacob Eason, Sam Ellinger. For me, and I just haven't had an opportunity to see him up close and in person. And nobody's had a chance to see, Jacob Eason. And I'll tell you this: seeing him live, seeing him under center with the first stringers, for me, and this is going to come off one way with Colts Nation, and I hope they don't take me the wrong way, but he did not have a good day on Saturday. It just wasn't. It just wasn't what I think of when I look at a first stringer. I mean, his throws, he did a lot of check downs. One of the crazy things, Stephen, to me is he has such a big arm, and he never drove the football down the field at all. He threw one deep pass that whole session, and he overthrew the guy by about 15 yards. So it was really a lot of checkdowns, a lot of underneaths, a lot of inaccuracy. I think the thing that stood out to me too with him, Stephen, is that there was just never a sense of urgency with him. I was a little bit disappointed in that part of it. Maybe it was just a bad day. I know the sentiment's not been the greatest with him so far.
Right.
If we're looking for a silver lining, I've done a little research, I've done a little digging, and one thing that I've always heard about him, and some players have had this kind of reputation as they've been in the NFL, he's a better player on game day than he is at practicing. He's not as good practicing, and he doesn't really blow it up during the practice, and that was the truth. He didn't look good. But that being said, Sam Ehlinger came out there. Ehlinger looked a lot more confident. He looked like he was a little more of the command of the huddle. Definitely can tell Sam doesn't have the greatest arm strength, but he's very capable. I would say he's a very capable quarterback. So if you had to have him in a pinch, he could probably help out. Other than that, the running backs, man, I'm telling you, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, it didn't matter who got the ball. They were taking the ball out there. Another huge takeaway, Isaiah Rodgers, unbelievable. He had at least three kickoff returns that would have went to the house. In that live scrimmage. That dude was looking good. He had the crowd up and going. So that's my 2 cents. I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on that segment, but I got a little long-winded, but it was fun. It was exciting to see actual players, out there doing their thing, man.
So really quickly, before we do anything else, we like to give pops to the comments. My guy, NFL Outdated, loving the quarterback talk. And then obviously have to point out one of the first ladies. Oh, wait, no, where'd she go? There she is. One of the first ladies of No Horsing, dropping in a little comment. Gotta love it. Thank you. So as far as camp goes, I would love. So I love Michael Strong. We talked about that in the offseason. He was a pick in the draft that really interested me. If you take a lower level division guy, in my mind, you always have to. They need to be dominant wherever they've been, and dude was dominant. Dude is insane. So it was great to hear you kind of say, hey, look at his body. Obviously, everybody saw the tweet that came out. There was the Colts tweeted out him making the one-handed catch against presumably our number one corner, which is Xavier Rhodes, which caught – I played that for a buddy of mine who's a Titans fan, and his only response was, so that's the guy who's going to guard A.J. Brown. So that it worked, cuts both ways a little bit with it, but I'm so glad he's looked well. He's looked really good. It's very interesting to me to see, because we had the argument all offseason on how many wide receivers they're going to carry, who's going to do what. It's really looking like there's a very, very strong possibility that Michael Strong's going to be on this roster. Somebody tweeted at me and said, it says a lot that you're hearing a ton about him and you don't hear anything about Patman. We're not hearing anything.
No.
It's crickets. So, Strong is showing up like he's come to play. I do like the comp you had with Plaxico Burress. It's fitting not only with his size, but it's fitting with his number too. Same number. And then as far as my observation, like NFL Outdated popped in here about the quarterbacks, is I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think of Sam Ehlinger. It's very well established. Me and you have talked. I hated the pick, in the moment, and I came around.
Yeah.
We did say I came around, but I felt it was the worst pick. I think I tweeted out that I thought it was the worst pick of the entire draft for the Colts. But I also don't know what to think. He's going against third teamers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what
second? Well, he's actually taking. To be fair to him, he's taking snaps against the second stringers.
Okay.
Right now. He's moved up a little bit. You're right, though. He's going to have to earn that opportunity. I think Jacob. Look, Eason is in the driver's seat. Eason would have to lose this job. I don't think this is one of those situations where the Colts want to go out there and have to do something crazy like that. I just think it sounds like Frank Reich. I listened to him on the Pat McAfee podcast last week. Sounds like he's going to give him close to a half. He said he's going to play this preseason, and I think it's great. I mean, we want to see him. We want to see what he's about, and I'm not worried at all about him making any young mistakes. I want to see him play within Frank Reich's system, be aggressive, and be confident. That's all I care about. Bounce back from those bad mistakes. Be confident in what he's doing on the field. I mean, he's going to throw interceptions. I mean, that's just the part of being a young quarterback. You got to mature as you go. I'm not worried about that. But display that arm. Use that arm. Throw the ball out there. Make teams, respect that big arm. Launch that ball out there. T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman. By the way, Michael Pittman Jr., if we want to get back to the training camp too, is a man amongst boys. I mean, that boy was out there just going at it. He and Xavier Rhodes had a day. I mean, they talked back and forth all day long. Xavier would have a big play against him. He'd bounce back and have a big play against X. I mean, it was a cool seeing two really good pros go against each other as well. I think Pittman Jr. is going to be unbelievable this year, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, he looks every bit wide receiver one. He looks every bit of it. And he's got everything that you want. We talked about it last time. He's making the plays. He's got kind of that edge a little bit more this year. Obviously we talked about last time he had the first fight at training camp. So, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. We made a whole video of the stupidity of the quarterback quandary of Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew and Marcus Mariota, and none of that's happening. I mean, I just, especially with it looking like Carson's on the front end of the timeline, it's Eason's job. It's Eason's job to lose. He's not looked great, but I think we don't want to coddle him. You don't want to baby him, but he is playing against. He's not knowing he was going to. He is going up against probably a top 5 defense in the NFL. I mean, hands down. And Ehlinger has looked really good against the second and third teamers. So, I mean, who knows what he would look like if he got in there against a DeForest Buckner and Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah.
Rock Yassin. No, I'm just playing. That doesn't work. But, who knows? Now, he's going to get his chance. I mean, the greatest thing I heard was, I think it was Kevin Bone was talking about it. And he said, all the physical gifts that Jacob Eason has, Sam Ehlinger has none of them. But he kind of just has the will. Like, he's a player. He knows what to do to move the offense in whatever way he can. But he has none of the natural gifts that Jacob Eason does.
Stephen, he is everything that Jacob Eason is not. And Jacob Eason is everything that, and Jacob Eason is everything that Sam Ehlinger is not. Like.
Did they look real? When they stood together? Could you just?
Oh yeah.
One looks like a quarterback in the NFL. One looks like a quarterback in college.
I tell you what, though. I mean, Ehlinger has a little bit of a. Chris Ballard always said, after he drafted him, he said, "I don't know what it is, but he has it." Yeah. I remember that. That stuck with me.
Yeah.
When I watched him practice, I said, I understand. I don't know what it is, but he really does. I mean, he has this confidence about him. I wouldn't say it's arrogance, but he is, man. I mean, he's a guy out there when he's playing, he's in command of that. He's a leader of that huddle. I mean, he's running around. He's making calls. He's shifting the line. He's checking down. He had a really cool audible. He audibled to he audible to do a quarterback sneak in the end zone for a touchdown on a goal line thing. It was really cool, man. I mean, I thought, wow, what a gutsy play from a guy who's, playing for his NFL life, to actually, do that. And I just thought that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, not to just beat a dead horse. I don't want people to think that I'm anti-Eason. I think Eason, we're going to find out in Carolina. We're going to see if what he's all about. I still think that there's something there. They drafted him in the 4th round for a reason. This guy's a 5-star, recruit coming out of high school. He's the real deal. I mean, he's the real deal.
Which, to do a little plug for you really quickly, y'all can see it too, because we're going to give the tickets away later to this game, to Eason's first game as the Colts QB1. You guys have a chance. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, jump in. I'm gonna just, we tweeted, I'm gonna say it again. Code word is horseplay. You need to get on here, drop it in the comments. We're gonna give the tickets away here in a little bit, but you need to do those things. You need to give me the code word. Give me the code word so I can put you in for the random drawing for these tickets. And yes, we dropped it into the chat too. I want to make sure our boys over at Bring the Juice, Cody, Derek, we love you guys. Thank you guys for jumping in here.
Absolutely.
It's a humble thing. Thank you. We're glad you're here. If you got any questions, you can jump in too. So let's move kind of from the reactions of you going up there.
Okay.
To kind of, what are we thinking? Who's looked really good? Let's pin it down to let's do one offense, one defense each. Who has been like a riser for you, and who has been who has not shown up? I joked when I did the podcast last year during the year, it was show up and show out. So who has shown up and who has just not shown up at all is kind of the question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, to be honest, on defense, and I don't know what to make of this, really. I don't know if he's just going against a guy who's not, super skilled, but Quiddy Pay. I mean, on defense, I saw it again. I mean, the guy just pops. He just moved that guy every single time. I mean, he just shocks that left tackle when he hits you with that first initial punch. I mean, he had, I call it on tilt. I mean, he had Sam Tevy on roller skates the whole practice. I mean, that dude was all over, the place. He just couldn't keep up with him. He's just a better athlete. So I thought, that's hard to say riser, but I mean, he's a rookie, right? You don't expect a whole lot out of your rookie. You expect him to come along kind of slow. And Quiddy looked really good, and that's been the sentiment from everybody who's been, ground zero on the defensive side. I thought, once again, Quiddy's been great. If you want to throw Okereke has been the guy they've talked about every single practice as well. On the offensive side, it's kind of business as usual. But, we talked about Strine earlier. He's had a pretty good camp as a young body. I also think that Zach Pascal's quietly had a pretty good camp too. I think, what I saw of him, out there, he did pretty well. I mean, he's looked pretty well. So for that being said, I would probably take Pascal. I'd probably take Quiddy Pay or Bobby Okereke on the defensive side. You got anybody?
Yeah. So defense, I mean, I laugh because I even said this in there. I mean, defense has got to be Ben Banigou, for me. I don't know how he looked while you were up there, but at the same time, he's just, I talked with Cody about this. I went on Bring the Juice last week, and we were talking about it. And it's just, he seems to be taking more of the Taekwon Lewis route as opposed to, like a Basham or someone along those lines who they didn't internalize it. They didn't take the failures of last year and push forward with it. And he seems like that's been fuel, man. It's been fuel for that fire, and he's looked great. I'm trying to think. He said something today that I thought was so funny, where it was like it was something about how he was in his own head, his own way, and he has just flat out decided he's just going to not think. He's just going to go. He was overthinking things initially. But I mean, he's been insane. I mean, I'm going to get to my offensive one, but can you imagine if we look at camp right now and you look at Quiddy, Banigou, and Toure have all looked great. Taekwon Lewis has looked great. Can you imagine if two of them actually pop this year, just actually pop, what that could actually mean for the defense. It's just going to be insane. Can you imagine if like all of them show just a little bit or one of them shows something? It's insane to think about because the pass rush has looked really good. Now, the question I have for you before I get to my offensive one is, has Quiddy looked that good? Because I do think he has. Or has Tevy been that bad?
That's a fair question.
A little bit of both.
I don't want to take away from Quiddy. I really don't. I don't think Tevy's been great personally, but I don't want to take anything away from Quiddy. I think Quiddy's been really, really good. Probably even a little bit better even than the Colts could have expected. I mean, the guy has been dominant so far. I think I give it a little bit. I think I give it a little bit of the edge to Quiddy, to be honest with you. I think he's had a great camp.
Yeah, I mean, he's looked so good. Like I can't remember the last time I've seen a rookie come in and just like immediately, Jonathan Taylor took a little time, Michael Pittman took a little time, but to come in and just immediately, I mean, if you want to be funny and you want to be like totally hypothetical, you could say our first round pick last year looked damn good. I mean, technically it was DeForest Buckner, but he was not a rookie, but I mean, he's looked really good. It's a good one. For the offensive side of the ball, for me, I'm going to go with, who was I going to go with? I had it in my head. It was a receiver. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. It's Paris Campbell for me, simply due to the fact that he's healthy and he looks good. He looks really, really good. He looks fast. I mean, I am curious because that's someone you didn't touch on. Does he look as fast in person as he does on tape?
He had, for me, when I was there on Saturday, he was a little bit quiet. So I didn't get a chance to see him. Actually, they have two fields down there. He warmed up on the other field. I didn't get a chance to see him as much up close. And he got thrown to one time and he had a really good, he went up there and grabbed the ball and pulled the ball down against Xavier Rhodes. A super athletic catch. But other than that, Eason didn't look his way a lot. Eason was really he hit a lot of running backs when he was completing the passes. He went to tight ends quite often. And Pittman was his guy. I mean, you could tell he was dialed in to Pittman. I mean, right off when he snapped the ball, he was looking in, Michael Pittman Jr. all the way as often as he possibly could, giving him a chance to go out there and make those plays and make those grabs. But I think Paris has got a chance to really have a bounce back year. My big thing is for him, I just want him to be healthy, man. I want to get to see him play football and possibly, work up to his full potential.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it repeatedly with him. It's make or break. It's 100%. It's a make or break season. But, I think he's looked good. By far, I could name 6 players at minimum on defense who've stood out. Offense is sometimes a little trickier. If you want to go off the beaten path, you could say Carson for the first 2 days. He looked really good, and then he broke his foot. So I don't know if you want to count that or not.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been, before we get to the ticket giveaway, I kind of want to put a little bit of a bow per se on the first couple of weeks of camp. Just in general, man, like not specifics really. How have you felt? Kind of one as a Colts fan, and then 2 is like the podcaster that me and you are. How have you felt about the first couple of weeks of camp?
It's mixed emotions, right? Because we're dealing with these injuries to these high-profile players. But outside of that, I'm very encouraged by this defense. I saw them in person, and, man, they're fast. They really are, Steven. They're straight to the ball. They're competing. And the thing I really loved, being there at that Saturday practice, all 3 levels. We're talking about defensive line. We're talking about linebackers. We're talking about all our cornerbacks, our safeties. They're playing, for each other. You can tell there's a chip on their shoulder. They're out there trying to make plays. TJ Carey had a nice little hit. You're not really supposed to level off and hit people, but he did it anyways. I like that. They were aggressive, and they were bringing it to the offense. They were taking it personal. And I'm excited that they get to actually, beat up on another team this week with Carolina coming in. They actually get to do some of those joint practices. And I look forward to seeing what that entails and seeing what we really got. I think that's It's the unknown, fear of the unknown. We just don't know what we got as far as the offensive. We got all the weapons. We just have that big question mark at that quarterback position. And I think pretty soon, as early as 6 days, we're going to find out what we got at that quarterback position, for better or worse.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I would, if I had to use one word to describe Colts training camp, the first 2 weeks would be foot. It's the only thing I could think of, because it was just, we talked a lot. It didn't damper me. I mean, obviously, it's a punch in the gut when you lose your starting quarterback 2 days into camp because you want to see him. And then, 3 days later, you lose your all-pro left guard, who, I mean, it's the funny thing with him. I can't name you another guard in the league, really, but I'll tell you what, you mentioned Quenton Nelson, you mentioned Big Q around the league. People know exactly who he is.
Oh, yeah.
They know who he is, and they know what that means that he's not here. But, I mean, it was almost, a better word, slightly deflating, just because you were so excited. And I only say that, it doesn't damper me. We've got fun things to talk about. We've got plenty to talk about. I'm excited to see Jacob Eason. I'm excited to see this young talent that we have on the team take the field against the Panthers. But at the same time, it sucked too, just because that was all national headlines. It was all you saw in the national headlines was Carson Wentz goes down, Quenton Nelson goes down. And then me living in Tennessee, all I hear is, oh, the Titans. Oh, the Titans are far and away the best team in the division now, far and away. All these different things. So every headline, and then there was the minutia and the monotony of hearing, oh, well, Nick Foles is coming. Nick Foles is not coming. If I were the Bears, I said it in my rant, I would have cut him so fast for what he's a third stringer for what he did in that press conference. But there's anticipation. I mean, I'm going to go off subject real quick on this part, though. I kind of feel slightly disappointed, too, that the Colts weren't in the Hall of Fame game, considering we had two amazing talents going in, and they tend to give that game to someone who has players going in, and we had multiple players.
Yeah. Shout out to P Money right here, the sheriff. That's why I'm wearing my Hall of Fame shirt right here. Yeah, man. I mean, you talk about generational. I guess if you want to debate one of the best two quarterbacks, I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But if you want to debate one of the best two quarterbacks that ever lived, one of the true incredible running backs with edge going in, you're right, man. I mean, it was kind of a bummer that we didn't get that Hall of Fame game. Man, I tell you what, it would have been really cool to get to see him because I'm excited. I'm chomping at the bit for football. We'll see. We'll see. We got Sunday. We got to wait a few days later, a little bit longer than anticipated. But yeah, I love their speeches. They were completely different. I mean, I love the line what Edgerrin said. Came in the league with gold teeth, and I walked out of the league with a gold jacket. Like how damn good is that, man? Like, come on. That's amazing.
Sometimes I sit there and, you just got to kind of like pinch yourself a little bit at the team. Me and you, kind of our generation, grew up and watched. I mean, Dungy Hall of Fame, Polian Hall of Fame, Peyton Hall of Fame, Marvin Hall of Fame, Edgerrin Hall of Fame. Reggie's going in the Hall of Fame very soon, probably as soon as next year. Dwight Freeney probably going to go in. Robert Mathis has a realistic possibility. I mean, it's insane to look back and think, man, look at the amount of talent that we had on the team. Really quickly, I want to give a shout out to our boy Wyatt Law jumping into the comments, talking about Big Q and Quiddy. We love you guys jumping in. And shout out to Jessica for talking to you.
Exactly.
For jumping in too. We're really, I mean, we love it. We love you guys coming in here, jumping into the comments. Everyone who's in the comments is getting entered for these tickets, you guys. So you need to make sure that you're in there too. So let's do it, man. You want to give these tickets away?
I'd love to, man. Let's just throw it up there, see what everybody's reaction is, and let's see what we can get. You know, if you want to win the tickets, all you got to do is just post in the comments. What is it, no horsing tonight or horseplay?
Horseplay. I mean, if you want to just post something into the comments, feel free to do it too. We
Whatever
just
you
want
wanna
you guys
do,
interactions.
Yep.
To get in here to get these tickets. And I mean, we're excited, man. We got a little video for you guys. For those who are on YouTube or are watching on Twitter or Facebook, we got a fun little thing. There you go, Theo, man. I'm loving it, dropping it in. I'm gonna play this video. You guys got a chance to drop it in the comments.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Okay, so we want to do that. Give you guys a little bit more time. Try to drop it in the comments as quick as you can. Love it, Jessica. You're in here too. Got you already. I think I already got you queued up in there. Okay, so the way this is going to work really quickly. Obviously, we dropped the hint. We're giving away the tickets. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're to the Colts-Panthers game. We wanted to give them away as soon as possible, considering it's this upcoming weekend. And we know sometimes, we have the bulk of our listeners and viewers do tend to be in the state of Indiana. We have some in Tennessee, obviously, because I'm in Tennessee. So that's a beneficial thing for you guys getting to this game. When we select the winner, I'm going to pull it up. You guys are going to see the random drawing live right here on air. DM the No Horsing page after you win, and we'll kind of make the arrangements, get the contact information we need to get to be able to send you these tickets. So you're going to be able to go to the game and see QB1. It's not Carson Wentz, but we all get to see Jacob Eason for the first time too and see what he actually looks like in the Colts uniform. So let's do this, man. Let's give away some tickets. I'm excited. You're excited. We've been talking about it for weeks. So let's bring this up. Okay, so this is everybody that I have entered, you guys. So I'm going to give you guys one last second here. If you want to try to jump into the comments, if you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, get into the comments real quick. Drop it in there if you want to get in. I'm going to give you guys one more second.
About 15 seconds, Steven. Let's just see what we got.
Y'all know you want them.
Exactly.
I've literally joked before. Who doesn't like free stuff?
Exactly.
And these are free tickets. You guys, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. I'm gonna tell this really quickly. You guys will be attending a Colts game at Lucas Oil Stadium before I have. I'm going up later this season to go see a game with my boy Zach. Absolutely. But I have not seen a game yet up there. So whoever wins these tickets is actually going to beat me to the punch completely.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. I mean, just getting back to football. There's no limitations either, which I really love. I mean, we don't have to sit around and worry about, hey, how many people are allowed to show up, mask mandates, all that good stuff. We can just go be football fans again, and all kind of get in there, get loud, support our football team. It's just a good time. So one thing that we would ask, though, if you do get the tickets, we would want to make sure that you can go to the game. We don't want to just throw those out there. So if you are out of state and you're listening to us, we really appreciate that. But if you're not going to be able to make the game, that's this Sunday against the Carolina Panthers, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be there. And somebody else is going to be there. So yeah, I mean, just make sure you guys can be there. And like Steven said, just hit him up in his DM and we'll make sure that you get those tickets right away.
Yep. Okay. So without further ado, man, let's do this. It's going to be really quick. I just hit this lovely button. It's going to pick you guys winner. And that winner is, oh, wait. They're not in the comments. There it is. Eric Pearson. Eric, man, you dropped up in the comments earlier. Hit us up. drop it into the comments here. Find me at No Horsing. We are thrilled to give away these tickets to you guys. I'm excited about it. Like I said, jokingly, we have been talking about this privately. Me and Zach have been talking about this probably for a month and a half. Publicly on the shows, we've been talking about it for probably about 2 weeks. So, I mean, we're really excited to do it, you guys. So like I said, yeah, find me, go to at, you guys know how to follow us. Everyone knows where we're at. It's all these lovely information. Go somewhere, go to one of these lovely pages, find us, DM so we can get your information. Eric, DM the No Horsing page so we can kind of get this squared away and we can get you these tickets so you can go see Jacob Eason, man. So now that we have given the tickets away, I feel like the air's out of the room. No, I'm just playing. It was such an exciting thing. We were so excited to do it that we kind of go by the wayside with everything else. But obviously, I want to try something. I've not even told Zach this. We got about 15 minutes left, probably on 15 minutes on what we're gonna do here, and we always do our lovely social media sessions presented by One Call Technology. Y'all remember One Call Technology is a leading telecommunication provider in the Middle Tennessee area. Over 100 years worth of experience from their techs. I work there. You can call. You can find me. If you think you're paying too much on your phone bill or you want a new phone system or you just want a new phone, not cell phones, but if you want a new phone, call me. The number is 1-888-585-8850. You can go to onecalltech.com. A key thing, too, my bosses have been telling me this, too, is that tell them that No Horsing Around sent you. Tell them that the lounge room. Tell them that you heard it on the podcast. Just so it's an ability to kind of track this a little bit more for them. So just go there, go do that. But this is what I want to do, you guys. This is kind of where I'm at in regards to social media sessions this time, because I just want to try something new. We got a pretty good little mix of interaction going on here. Theo's in here. Jessica's talking a lot. We know Wyatt's here. Let's have a little fun. Drop a question in the. I'm gonna open it up inside the comments.
Absolutely.
Right now, y'all drop a question into the comments and we'll discuss it, man. We'll answer it live on air. I'm interested to see. You can ask anything. You can. I joke. You can ask about Easton and Wentz. You can ask about the color of the cleats. You can ask about the size of the stadium. I don't care. You can ask me anything and we'll answer. I've had questions. Y'all know, for everyone who's listened to us long enough, I've had questions about black uniforms. I've had questions about Carson Wentz before we traded for him. It's been all over the map. So if you guys got a question that's kind of eking in the back of your mind, our boy Scotty A. Colts guy will never forget the very amazing question he asked several weeks ago that took 5 minutes for me to read. He did, off air, he did DM me and thank me for going through it and doing our best to answer the question. We did actually answer it for him. So
we did.
If you got it, do it. I mean, I'm ready, man.
Exactly, man. Well, as we wait for things to queue up here, man, I just got a question for you, Stephen.
Yes.
How soon is too soon to pull the plug? Let's just say if Jacob doesn't go out and have a great showing, do we just stick with him, say, hey, he's young, we're going to grow from this, we're going to continue to get better? How soon is too soon to pull the plug? Or do you just think that the Colts are in a position where they think, you know what, we're sticking with them, we're going to ride this out come hell or high water?
I think it greatly depends on the actual time frame, the actual timeline for Wentz. If he's going to be back, because you're hearing slight rumblings, touchy ones, that he's going to push for week 1. If he's back by week 3 against the Titans, I think you're just going to roll with Eason no matter how he looks in preseason, because it's only 2 games. If he has a setback and he's out closer to that, he doesn't come back until closer to that 7-8 game, that closer to the 12 week, then you're really looking long and hard, because if you start 2-5, you're up a creek. That's a tough climb, and we're really close. I mean, I don't think we as Colts Nation have really looked closely enough that we play the Titans in twice in the first 2 months, and that's done. And that's really, for all the bickering we have with the Titans and for all the hate that we have, because being a friend of you and being in Tennessee. I've grown to hate them even more over the last several months. But we can everyone can attest to it's between the Colts and the Titans. Like that's where the division lies. And if Easton looks bad and Carson's not playing and we get swept, that's a big deal. I don't think short of him going out and throwing 4 interceptions and having 3 fumbles and just looking just inept that they do anything after week 1. I don't think they really do anything after week 2.
Okay.
But I think it's by week 2, we're going to have a much better idea of where Carson sits in his rehab too.
Yeah, because I think like a week from today, I think that's when the 2-week timetable for Carson's over and he can kind of start being reevaluated. And maybe, he thinks, maybe they think, hey, now we have a much better gauge how he's healed, how he's progressing, if he can actually do this, the right way. Got our first question, Caden, the Colts fan. You think Rawhand makes 53-man roster or sees any playing time this year if he does? Steven, you were the first to kind of predict him early on. We haven't done a final 53, but I got to give you your credit. You're usually wrong and I'm usually right. But in this case right here, I think he makes the 53. Now I really do. And I think as the year progresses and as the year goes, yes, I think they do find some way to get him on the field a little bit. It's going to be a tall order if we're healthy. Breaking in through, T.Y. and Pittman Jr., Paris, Pascal, those 4 guys seem to be pretty firm, pretty firm entrenched in those first 4 positions. So he'd have to do something special. That being said, I think there's something to him. I really do. I think there's something to his game. I just think that he is really, really, really more polished than they ever expected at this point. His route running looks smooth. His in and outs look great, Caden. The way he just kind of transitions into those, over routes or those crossers or even those fades. He looks really, really solid. And you're right. You think he can be a steal. I would tend to agree with you, man. I think Chris Ballard may just have hit on somebody late in this draft that turns out to be. I think he's taking Desmond Patton's spot right now.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. I'm in. We are lockstep a lot of times, and yeah, I'll bask in the adulation of calling it. I damn sure didn't call the 53-man roster. I think the debate me and you were having was, can they sneak him on the practice squad? I got to interact with him slightly in some media availability, and he was a fantastic guy to talk to. He was, very open, very exciting. Man, when you've made the list on Peter King for Monday morning quarterback for people to watch in camp, which he did today, is someone to keep an eye on. And the Colts are tweeting out things about you, catching one-handed passes on their number 1 cornerback. Man, I think he has definitely taken the spot from Colin. Yeah, Patman. I was going to say Granson for some reason, but he's definitely taken that spot. I'm with you too. It's tough, man, to figure out where does he break in. But the question is, does he get some snaps? Because we've got, Pascal's only on a 1-year deal. T.Y. is only on a 1-year deal. Is he being groomed? And it's not unheard of. If there's one position, it is not unheard of for a small school wide receiver to do really well and for a late round pick at wide receiver to do really well. Just look inside the Colts organization all on your own. Pierre Garçon was a very talented Division III prospect who got paid by the Washington football team, but really played well, played in a Super Bowl for the Colts, was really talented. And you can just look around the league too in general about, it's a blasphemous name, but like Antonio Brown, late round pick, so there's plenty of them. So I see him making the 53-man roster. I talked about it. I thought he was very talented. It's kind of tough when you're looking up for his highlights. They're a little grainy. They kind of look like they're on a high school football field. And it's an interesting thing. Huge shout out, Just Plain Folks. Just discovered you guys. Welcome to being on the radar. Love it. I didn't really think we were on the. I love that. Hey, man, if you're not subscribed, if you're in these comments, Cade, because we don't see a lot of this stuff. Cade, Just Plain Folks, whoever's on here, if you've not subscribed yet, y'all just hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the videos. Smash it, hit it. I joke on another one, so I'm trying to come up with it. Hit it as hard as Kwity Paye has been hitting Jacob Eason in his mind, because he's not allowed to, but how hard he's going to hit the quarterback in the first game.
Exactly.
Hit that subscribe button that hard. So because we drop short videos, you get ones with Zach, you get ones with me where we're doing quick updates. Oh God, Wyatt. Wyatt had a question: boxers or briefs?
You gotta love Wyatt, though, right?
Wyatt, we love you, man. Thank you so much. Hopefully that hat's looking really good on you, my man.
Wyatt is for everybody who's tuned in right now. He's like one of our longtime listeners and one of our like most loyal from day one. He is one of my absolute favorites on this thing. And right,
won our last giveaway. He won the fitted Colts NFL draft hat.
He did. He won the hat. And
you said ask anything.
And I got boxers on right now, Wyatt. And I don't know.
I've got my DeForest Buckner shirt, and I've got my lovely Colts shorts on. And if I was feeling really frisky, my wife got me Colts tennis shoes for Father's Day. I'd pop those up here for you guys to see. Nice. But I'm not going to lift my leg up; it'll hurt me. Oh, here we go. Here's one more, man. So Just Plain Folks dropped again. Tell us newbies to you guys about yourselves. Are you in Indy? So people who are, this is the first time we've gone live. So, I mean, we're picking up new people as we go. We love that. We love it. So obviously, Zach is in Indiana. I'm in Tennessee. We are just two. We say it all the time in our intro. We literally are just two dudes who love the Colts. And just talk about Colts, man. It's a fan-centric podcast with I think I always say it's expert opinion in a fan-centric way. We talk, me and Zach probably talk every day, some way, shape, or form about stuff that's going on. I almost made Zach wreck because I dropped the news about Darius Leonard over the weekend to him.
Exactly.
So
that's a bird right there. I loved it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just us, just talking Colts. Me and Zach are really good friends. I don't know what Zach. What else do you want to tell him?
Yeah, man. I mean, I live up here in Indy. Season ticket holder. I've been a Colts fan almost all my life. I mean, I've just dedicated a lot of time, effort, energy, money, resources. It's my passion. I love the Colts, and I just have always gravitated to football, in particular Colts football. So yeah, we live up here. I love being a part of this community. So cool. Nothing better in my life, when on a Sunday morning when you got a home game and you just see that buzz around your city. I mean, you're so proud to be not only a Colts fan, but you're so proud to say, "Hey, I am from Indianapolis." They represent me. That shoe means a lot. Pretty cool. Pretty cool feeling. I'm glad you asked that question. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely excited about this season. Steve and I have been podcasting since this off season, kind of, I would say around draft time is when we got kicked off, right?
Yeah. I mean, we did around we started draft time.
We've both done some podcasts separately, in some other areas, and it kind of all weird how things work out. But we are very grateful to be working together now, and it's something that we look forward to doing for as long as you guys allow us to do it. Yeah. We've always made a joke, and it wasn't really a joke though. I've always said as long as one person listens to our podcast, we'll keep doing it. Because that's just. We love doing this. This isn't work. This is our hobby. So yeah. Thanks.
We joke all the time. It's kind of like, Zach had a podcast that he did for a little while. I had one that I did for a little while, and it's kind of like they both did well. Like we did well on our own for the most part. And it was just kind of like we've linked up, we linked up at one point in the off season, and it's just been like you don't want to say like this magic thing, but it's just been amazing. But it's also because of you guys, the interaction that we get with you guys, and it's so cool. So as we sit here doing this live, and for those who are going to be listening tomorrow on Apple and Spotify and iHeartRadio, it's so cool because we see the interaction. We see the numbers go up on YouTube. We've seen them, and we've built this from the ground up. No easy way out. We have grinded to get to where we're at, with help from a lot of people. We've been very blessed, very lucky to have great relationships with the local media in Indy, great relationships with several very prominent Colts content creators. Shout out Bring the Juice. Cody and Derek have been amazing. Lawrence is great too. Marcus is amazing. We've been very blessed along those lines. But a lot of it is you guys, and it's so cool to go live like we're doing tonight. And we're going to do this throughout the season too.
Yeah.
And we actually see the interaction as it comes in. Sifo, thank you, man. Much respect, fellas. Hey, make sure, and I want to make sure I hit this. Kennedy 57, hit the subscribe button right now. As hard as the Titans fans' pride will fall this season, that might be something I have to steal, Kennedy. That is good. That is that's really, really good. I appreciate it. I want to make sure we're getting to some of these comments that you guys are popping up. Just plain, folks, again, I do a lot of other shows. Looking forward to checking out you guys. YouTube put you front and center, which is a good sign. That is awesome. We were really excited. I know that's awesome. And we were excited. I snapped a picture. It was Zach's video about Quenton Nelson this past week was 3 videos down from Pat McAfee. So hopefully that means we're doing something correct.
Absolutely.
And as you guys are chiming in, like I said, if you guys have not, please subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on the platforms. If you're listening to this, make sure that you're following us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anything along those lines. Man, I don't know. Do you got anything else?
No, man. I want to wrap up on a question from earlier.
Yes.
The Forrest Buckner, no real updates on that. I think it's just kind of, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything super bad or super discouraging, I would put that way. So I think we can keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully things, I think hopefully as of right now, we're going to be good with D-Buck. But anyways, man, yeah, that's cool. And then Kennedy, him and Mason come on, right?
Him and Mason, they came on
very early on. And how cool is that to see what their show's doing? How they're growing, getting bigger, better. It's neat, right? It's neat anytime you have people that want to interact with you and be a part of what you do. I always tell people, and I've been hitting on this real hard here lately, but if you're looking for to be a part of a family, a Colts family, join the No Horsing Around family, because that's what we are, man. We just want to, we just want to be a part of something special, and we want to interact with you. And you guys, even if you don't agree with everything that we say, hey, let us know, man. We'll call you out. We'll give you a shout out on the live podcast, whatever. Just very grateful for what's going on right now with us.
I'm telling you, I'm with you. And I just can't say it enough when I say thank you guys. Me and Zach, we got on here about 10 minutes early, and this is the first time we've gone live. And so we were sitting here going, man, we've been podcasting together for, 3 or 4 months. And it was just this moment of who's going to be on. I'm excited to see. And just the interaction. So I have to say this, and then we'll kind of round it out. I'm loving everybody trying to help me come up with how hard to hit the subscribe button. We've had the Titans pride from our boy Ian Kennedy. We've had Timothy chime in here with hit the subscribe button as hard as Jonathan Taylor hits the hole. I won't say, you guys can read it if you're on YouTube. I'll let you read the other one.
I love Tim.
You know what? We'll just. I marked the not for kids, or hit probably better than teabag the subscribe button, Big Q style. So I might use all these. I might mix them all in.
I think after that Tim response, that's the mic drop right there. Like we need to end this podcast on a super high note. Thank you guys. Hey, like, rate, review, subscribe. We're glad to give these tickets away. DM Steven. We're we're going to try to get this done within 24 hours because this is time sensitive. If not, guys, just so we have it on record, we'll release those tickets and we'll do like another randomizer or whatever we need to. But hopefully we can give these things away just ASAP. You guys can enjoy your time and be cool. Maybe I'll meet you there.
Sounds great, man. Like we always say, I love you. Zach loves you. We're out, you guys. Thank you guys for jumping on the live stream.
Thank you.